Hi, Barb. Really glad to have you today.
Thank you.
You welcome everyone back to the Build Your A Team podcast. The purpose of the podcast is to share how veteran entrepreneurs and business leaders build exceptional teams, uncovering whether success comes from strategic analysis, intuition, or pure luck. Today on Build Your A Team, we're joined by Barbara Jones Brown. Barb is a Gulf War veteran, and she has a pretty cool story there of her serving as a 71 Lima.
Yes.
She is also the founder and CEO of Freeing Returns, a retail tech company transforming how retailers handle product returns, helping brands recover revenue, reduce waste, and turn a challenge into a competitive edge.
Yes.
She has over 20 years in the retail tech sector,
Well,
and Freeing Returns is now the software is now operating in over 4,000 stores across US, Canada, and Japan. Awesome.
thank you.
And before Freeing Returns, Barb spent Barb spent time on two founding teams at two tech startups
Well,
that each exited for nearly 100 mil.
yes.
Crazy. Those are some exciting stories and lessons learned too, I bet.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Well, that just to finish up, I just want to just highlight that you are a passionate advocate for diversity in tech. You
Yeah,
strive to create opportunities for underrepresented groups in the industry,
yeah.
and your firm and you have been recognized. You have been emerging tech firm of the year in 2022 from the
Yes.
Minority Business Development Agency.
Yeah,
You were a Google for Startups finalist. You were a
yeah.
Morgan Stanley Multicultural Innovation Lab, receiving 250,000 in
Yes.
funding. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll stop there before you blush too much. But it's incredible to have you. It's a long intro. Would you like to say anything before we start?
Just thank you, Freddie, for the opportunity. I know we've been trying to do this, and I'm so happy that today is the day. Very
Yes.
excited to talk to you.
Same, really. Your background in not just startups and entrepreneurship, but your expertise in AI, I'd love to really uncover that during this conversation.
Yes.
So, with all of this background that we just went through, what do you think your your unique ability is, Barb?
Yes, yes, and I've heard this from our investors, including our one of our top investors is Serena Williams. She's about a 10% equity owner in the company. And what I've heard from our investors is they love my grit. They love my ability to look at, things that most people would think were problems. I look at them as a challenge, but to me, a challenge is something that excites me, right? I
Mm-hmm.
love overcoming challenges. I love doing things that people never thought someone like me could do. I think a lot of that comes from my military experience and just
Mm-hmm.
being in an all-female battalion, the only one, in our whole unit. And so just having to keep proving ourselves over and over again and being one of the first women to fight in the first war where women were, activated to fight in a war. And so I've had these type of challenges in my life, and it's just been for me exciting to overcome them. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think that's my superpower is the grit, being able to see a challenge as something that is exciting and something
Yeah.
that I would like to look forward to overcoming.
What drives you when you are facing a challenge or you're in a series of challenges and it's tough, right? And you want to win. I get it. But
Yes.
what keeps you going? What keeps your team going?
Yeah.
Is it just your internal grit, like, or is this something
Well, I
else?
think I'm an optimist, no matter what's going on, I always see, the positive outcome that can come, with that challenge. To me,
Mm,
challenges are just ways to make us stronger and, be able to kind of build certain, pieces of character within
mm,
us. And so when a challenge comes before me, I see it as something that I'm weak in, an area I'm weak in. And this challenge I'm going through is going to make me stronger in that area. For instance, people always see me, I'm traveling all the time, always flying around. but most people don't know that I'm afraid to fly. And I
Right.
travel all the time, but I have this fear of flying. And the first time I ever flew was going to advanced training in the military. It's the first time I ever gotten on a plane ever
Mm,
in my life. And so I'm afraid to fly. Turbulence, terrifies me. I got the white knuckles, but I fly all the time because I'm not going to let that fear stop me from
mm.
going to the places I need to go, including Singapore, Thailand, and different places I've flown to, of being afraid to fly. So that's just one example, but things that scare me that I have fear of are the ones I run after because I feel like that's something I have to overcome, and something is on the other side of that fear.
Does it get better over time?
Well, I
Does
mean,
it get
now it's like,
better?
I say it's still a fear, but
Yeah.
I don't have like it used to be a crippling fear where I was just like
Mm,
sitting there the whole time with eyes closed and wouldn't open my
yeah.
eyes until we landed.
No,
Now
no.
I can look out the window, if turbulence, I'm still like, ugh. But
Right, right.
it's
Still can't get used to that.
getting better, but it doesn't stop me
Mm,
anymore. If I have to go somewhere, I get
right.
on that plane and I go.
You go. I mean, you got
Hmm.
places to go, things to
Yes.
do. Well,
Yes.
I mean, you referenced your military background, and I think that's super interesting here. Can you tell us about your time when you were in the reserves and
Yeah.
you got activated for the Gulf War?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember I joined the military when I was 17. And if you were 17, your parents had to like sign for you because you were too
Mm,
young. And I was in high school, a recruiter came and I was like, man, this is a way I can go to college. So I told my mom, I'm joining the military. It's going to be the way for me to go to college because I always wanted to go to college. And my mother was like, no, that if you if you join the military, they're going to send you to war. I said, Mom, women don't fight in the war. If anything happens, I'm just going to be stateside. I'm not gonna fight in a war. She's like, are you sure you're not gonna fight in the war? I'm like, no, women don't fight in the war. And the recruiter even said the same, oh no, women have never fought in a US war. So I'm like, okay.
uh,
So join and guess what the Gulf War is.
mm,
First time women will be able to fight in a war. So
mm.
I was like, oh my goodness. And my mom was like, she was just crying, Freddie. Like, I knew it was gonna happen. I knew you're gonna have to fight
Oh,
in the war. And
damn.
so I was so afraid. And
Mm,
I remember when our unit got activated and we were getting ready and preparing to go to Saudi Arabia. And I was just like in this dream where I'm like, I cannot believe I'm actually going to fight in a war. So I've been in college and was taking advantage of the GI Bill to stop and go off to fight in the war. And so that's what happened. We landed in Saudi Arabia, and to get to our post in the middle of the night. We were setting up our tents and we heard gas. And everybody was like, get that gas mask on.
gas masks.
Oh my God. So we donned our gas masks and I had mine on so fast, Freddie. I was looking around. People were struggling to get their masks. I was like, oh my goodness. And I saw this is bad, but I saw one of our captains, and she was the main one that used to beat on us. Get that mask on, private. She did not get her mask. And so
Mm,
I was like, oh my, so I went over to try to help her. And she just started crying, like, oh shit, because she was just embarrassed that she couldn't get the mask on because he had
mm,
like drilled it into us. But I'm so happy she did because I had mine on so fast. That was from her, like beating
mm,
into us, like, get those masks on.
mm,
But it was just an experience. It was a false alarm, so there was no gas at that point. But had it been, a lot of people
mm,
would have been like they couldn't get their mask on.
mm,
But I learned so much in the military. I learned so much being activated for the Gulf War and just seeing how I was able to move forward even in so much fear. I was so afraid. That was the first time I had real bullets in my gun. Like we
mm,
had real bullets.
mm,
And I'm walking around with this M16 on my back with real
mm,
bullets. I have
mm.
pictures of that time and I show my daughters and they just can't believe that's their mother.
That's you,
And I
right?
was like, what, 18, 19 years
Mm,
old. And they're like,
mm,
Mom, you were bad, you know what?
mhm.
I was like, I guess
Badass.
so. Mom was
Mm,
bad. They were like, I can't believe that's you, Mom. But yeah,
mm,
I was there, Freddie. And it just it just taught me, like, I see so much of my life. I look back at that time. I'm like, it's not scarier than that. Like I
mm.
could have died, right? So anything I'm going through now is not scarier than flying over to Saudi Arabia getting off the plane, setting up a tent in the middle of the night, and you hear the word gas,
Hmm.
you know, and it becomes real, everything that you've been through in your training. And so none of this is harder
Yeah,
than that. So
agreed.
I can
I
get through
remember
any of
my
this business stuff. It's not, it's not that.
Yep. I agree. I agree. I remember my first deployment to Afghanistan, and I was scared. I was scared. I was reading a ton of books trying to understand this whole unconventional warfare and asymmetric warfare, and what I need to do to make sure we all survive, right? Or did our mission well, and it
Yeah,
was a scary experience.
it was
But
very
you,
scary.
yeah, being in the beginning, yeah, and not only that, you were also a secretary to a general, right?
Yeah, yeah, that
So
was my specialty. Yeah.
that must have been some added stress in your life.
Oh my goodness. I had top secret clearance, right?
Mm,
I remember right before we went, we were going to the Gulf War. Full Metal Jacket. I saw that movie the night before.
mm,
And I was like, because I didn't know what it was about. I saw that, I was like, oh, it was done, Freddie. I was like, this is no way. I can't believe I'm watching this movie the night before we
yeah.
leave. But it was Full Metal Jacket. But yeah, I had top secret clearance. Once we got the tents and everything set up, the generals came in and they started setting up the war room. And I'm in there, right? I'm in the war room and I'm taking the notes and I'm hearing all this stuff. We're gonna be attacking here, and everybody's in there. I'm like, oh my God, I'm hearing like all the stuff. I see the tent laid out in the room. You always hear about the infamous tent. I mean, not
Mm,
tent, the map of where
mm.
we're gonna be attacking. The map that shows all the, attack areas. And I'm in there with all of this going on with the generals and just hearing everything firsthand. And I will come out of there and everybody's like, Barbara, what's going on? I'm like, I can't say anything, guys. I can't. They're like, what's gonna happen? Like, don't even ask me questions. Like, everybody was like gathered around me. Like, what did you hear? Couldn't say anything, you know. And
Mm,
so it was 30 miles from the front line. We had air ambulances, ground ambulances. We had nurses, doctors, and we would go and get the troops and bring them back to our medical battalion. And that's
mm,
where
mm,
we were saving lives. And I
mm.
was there with all the dictation and the notes and sending everything out. And so it was just an experience. It was an experience. At the time, I was like, "Oh man, I just want to make sure I make it home." But when I look back at this now, I'm like, "Man, I'm so happy that I had that experience in my life. To
Yeah,
be able
so
to be there and see all of this firsthand."
amazing. Really, I would focus more on kind of your current status, but I'm just really curious now from your story.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about like your background, because I know it was a low income family,
yeah.
right? And like, how were you equipped, or how were you raised so that you were able to take on these challenges head on?
Well, nobody in my family had, I didn't know. I think I had an uncle. Yeah, true. One of my uncles was in the military. He was in the Marines.
Mm,
But, I was the first one to go to the military in my generation with myself and my cousins. And I didn't, all I knew is from the time I was a 5-year-old little girl. I remember one of my aunts, my favorite aunt, and she told me, she said, Barbara, you're going to be the one in the family to make it. And I'm 5. And I could just really was like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know what she was talking about, but I believed her. I was like, wow, I'm going to be the one in the family to make it. I just took that to heart. I'm going to be the one. I didn't know what make it meant, but I knew I was going to be the one to do it. And
mm,
so that's why I'm like, I got to get to college. And so for me, the military was a way to get to college. That's really all I knew about it, Freddie. I was so innocent. I didn't know anything.
mm,
I just knew
mm,
that I was going to be able to go to college. So I'm like, yes, I'm going to do it. And so, going through basic training, advanced training, all this type of stuff, I didn't know anything, And
mhm,
so what prepared me was just my family's belief in me since 5 that I would be the one in the family that made it. I don't know what they saw in me so young, but they saw it. And so it's the same way today in my family. It's like people always, look up to me. I think probably the only business person in the family, the only one with a tech, like computer science type degree. And,
mm,
it's just been a lot of firsts that I've done in my family and kind of been that beacon. And so, I just wanted to make sure that I didn't disappoint them. And I think that's what carried me through all of this is I just had to make it for my family. I had to be the one to change that trajectory from poverty to, abundance. And I wanted to be the person in the family that broke that curse. I think it's like just a curse, a generational curse. I wanted
Mm,
to break it and move our family into generational wealth, and having that be how the family continues for the generations to come.
mm. That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's inspiring
yeah,
to be kind of believed in when you were 5 years old, right?
yes,
So, I
yes.
mean, it's the same spark or drive or that energy that the general saw to select you as a assistant. I mean, I'm sure you've had a lot of accolades in high school as well. So
Oh yeah,
that's
same thing.
super. Yeah, that's super
Teachers,
commendable.
the kids hated me, but the teachers loved me.
Hmm.
I always had straight, if it was
Oh,
A's or sometimes middle school, I think they had S's, but whatever the top grade is, I had nothing but that. And I
that's
just
awesome.
always knew that education was the way to end the poverty in our family. I think my mom only got to the 11th grade, and just a lot of people in my family didn't graduate from high school. And so I was like, I got to get through high school. And I was the first one to go to college, in our family. And so it was just, I just felt like I'm happy my aunt told me that at 5 because I believed it and I was going to be the one to make it in this family. And it was just instilled in me so early. And the
Mm,
military gave me that training that I didn't have. It gave
mm.
me what I needed to be able to get through any type of obstacle.
That's thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So, if we pivot a little bit, I would love to understand about freeing returns, right? What
Yes,
what do
yes,
you guys do, right? What do
yes,
you guys do and and what is it that you do so well in this industry? So, can you
yes,
help us
yes.
understand that?
Of course, of course. So freeing returns stands for freeing returns on your investments. And so we help enterprise. We used to say retailers, but now we just have a non-retailer that we just signed. They
Mm,
have retail stores, but we're talking with their non-retail division. But we help enterprises find money that they would normally write off as a known loss. That's, the simplest form of what we do. And this is found money. This is money that they just like, oh, we're just going to lose this money. Let's just write it off. We don't know how to stop these losses. We give that money back to them and to the tune of millions of dollars. And so this can be game changers for a lot of these organizations who now have this money that they didn't have to sell for. They didn't have to go and do all these other things. It was money that they already had. They were just losing it. And now we show them how to put that money back as a profit on the profit and loss statement instead
what
of
a
a loss. And
what a
so we
brilliant.
use data that they
Mm,
already have. They don't have to go and collect new data, do anything differently, but give us the data, give us access to the data. And most of the time, this data is in siloed applications like point of sale systems, which is my bread and butter. I wrote
mhm,
and created point of sale systems. So I know those systems like the back of my hands. And that's where a lot of the loss is occurring. It's right at
mm,
that point of sale. And then we look at inventory systems, inventory management, vendor management, warehouse management. So we look at all these siloed applications that have tons of data. We pull that in and we look at this data with a bunch of retail algorithms around loss and fraud and theft. And so we can look in that data, find these areas, and tell them exactly what they're doing that is causing the loss and then what they need to do to correct that based on industry standards. And so that's what we do. And we've been doing AI and machine learning for years. But what we're excited about now is the generative AI, being able to give
mm.
these teams a chatbot that they can instead of looking through all this data or looking at our dashboards or reports, they can type a prompt and say, hey, where am I losing money for this particular item? And
Mm.
let the system go and find those losses and bring it back to them where they just click a little link and there's everything there. So we have the little digital AI agents that are running through the data to find all these things. And then all they have to do is click a link and it opens up the application so they see exactly where those losses are occurring. So
Is that
that's what we're
live?
doing now. That is almost live. We have our first client. We'll be launching them in 60
Mm.
days, and they will be the first ones to use our
Oh,
new
awesome.
generative AI chatbots. Yes,
That's so
about to
cool.
launch.
So,
Yes,
Barb, you and I met in CEO Circle, right? The program um, from IVMF and JP Morgan Chase sponsored,
yes,
and we are in the same small cohort, Red
yes,
2.
yes,
And I remember the first time we all got together, introduced ourselves, like talked about our problems in the business and whatnot. You were talking about agentic AI. And I
yes,
was like, what in the world is this woman talking about? Agentic AI,
yes,
right?
yeah,
And this generative AI, but the next level of agentic. And you really opened my mind about like AI and just I need to understand this more. This is
yes,
the way world is going. So can you with this platform that you have and I guess not even this pilot that you're launching, but the platform you have, you talk about waste that companies just find money. Can you
yeah.
tell us like what kind of
What
examples?
kinds? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
what kind of examples you've done for them?
Yeah. So you said it at the beginning. So refunds and returns.
Mm,
Most retailers accept this as just a way of doing business. I have to allow people to return things or they're not going to buy from me, right? If I have
mm,
a strict return policy, then people are not going to buy because they're nervous. They're not going to get their money back. But those same rules around what you can return and when is what the fraudsters exploit because
mm,
they know the rules. And so you have to allow your good customers to make returns. But if this is a fraudulent customer, you should not allow them to make a return. And so for the retailers, we empower them to know the good versus the fraud, right? So they can feel very confident that, I don't have to return this because they never bought it.
mm,
It's not a good customer I'm about to turn away. So that's where we really started with this platform is helping around returns management. But now we
mm,
look at losses across the board. We look at vendor issues. Just imagine these huge enterprises that order 100 million, $200 million a year, Freddie, in commodities to run their businesses. These are
mm,
Fortune 500 companies. So they're spending millions just to run their business. They're ordering things every
mm,
month. Just
mm.
imagine what happens when they need to return things at scale. This is not one little person coming in to return something they bought. This is like thousands, hundreds of thousands of things they have in the return.
Right, because of
And then
defects or whatever, right?
defects,
Right. Yeah.
warranties, anything that they
Mm-hmm.
have to return, but they're doing it in mass scale. So we may look at that. Okay, I returned it. I got $50 back. Big deal, right? What if you have $50 back times 10,000 things that you
Mm,
return? It's a
mm,
small amount of money when you just look at that one transaction. But when you look at it across scale, that's where the money starts adding up. And so that's
exactly.
our value is to take these little dollar amounts and show these companies, here's what this looks like across all the returns you did or all the
Mm,
things you returned. So now they're like, oh my goodness, that's $100,000 that I didn't even know was out
mm-hmm.
there because it's a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
little small transactions. We find all of that, bring it together, and then we automate the whole process for them to be able to get that return back through AI automation, not somebody calling and trying to figure out where's my $50. It's all automated with AI. And so we automatically allow them to take that return, that refund credit the next time they order something from that vendor. So they automatically get that credit. And that's where the money comes back into their pockets. And so it's, the client that we're piloting with, they were so excited about it because it would take them months to try to track this stuff down. We do
Mm,
it in seconds with the AI.
mm.
And they're just so excited that they're going to be able to they're thinking millions, probably three to
Oh
five
man.
million dollars they're going to get from using our technology back in found money.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. It's and hence preserving that good customer and
Yes.
having them continue to have that relationship with
Exactly.
you.
Yeah.
You know what kills me the most running small businesses is looking at the uh, uh the past due like invoices that you've already sent and you've done the work and things are, but they haven't paid back. It's a year or 2 years. I mean, some businesses have that. They
Yes,
carry that, right? And you're
yeah,
just like,
yeah.
oh man,
The
this is
bigger
just
they
one.
are, is the slower you get paid, right? And a lot
Hmm.
of times it's not malice on their ends, it's this at scale. They have
Right.
thousands, hundreds of thousands of vendors. You're just
Hmm.
one of them. You're just one of them. So
Right.
you have to automate that system. And a lot of times, these companies are focused on how they make their money. They're not focused on some of these operational inefficiencies that dwarf what they made in money, right? Because
Mm,
there's so much money they've lost. So they've made money, but they've
mm.
lost so much more. The
Right.
profits are
Right.
down. So if you can get on top of those operational inefficiencies, then man, your profit level is huge. And so that's the value that we bring. Returns on their investments, what they've already purchased, we make sure that they get that
Mm.
return on that investment.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's like an offer you can't refuse. Obviously, I'm gonna help you save money, right? I'm
Yes,
gonna help you find
yes,
money that you
yes,
think is gonna write off, right? That's obviously a no-brainer. Your
yeah.
company, though, Free Returns, it's first started as a consulting business
It did. Yeah.
for Lilly,
Yeah.
acronym that stands for Let's Imagine Life with Ladies in IT,
Oh,
right?
yes. Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
so you
Yeah.
started there. At what point
Yes.
did you say, "Hey, you know what? This needs to be a SaaS platform with AI."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the point was March of 2020. You know what that was? The height of COVID.
COVID.
The height of COVID. We do consulting for mostly in store because it's mostly cash register, point of sale systems. And 50% of our clients cancel us or completely stop the project. And I got a whole team. And I'm looking at my team. I'm either going to have to shut this company down or I'm going to have to let half of my people go. And, for me, everybody that knows me, my team is like my family. They're an extension of my family. I know their wives. I know their kids. So I can't look at them and let them go. I'm like,
Mm,
oh, we got to figure this out. And so, you remember PPP money. Everybody remembers the PPP monies. I think I was probably when that program opened up, I may have been the first person to submit my application, Freddie, because I was sitting there waiting for the countdown because
wow.
it happened at midnight, and I'm like 11:58, 11:59. Enter. I'd
Boom.
already filled out everything, hit enter right at midnight, and we got over $250,000 in PPP money. Yes, quickly.
Lifeline.
And God was able to keep the whole team in place, didn't let anybody go. We were able to start building this product because we had ideas. We just didn't have time to do it because everybody's working on consulting projects. And so we had time because there was no consulting projects. So we started building out this platform. We started announcing it here in Atlanta. We won hackathons, Freddie. We were top prize here, top prize there. So people really were like, you're on to something, and we decided to launch it, and that's how we got in front of Morgan Stanley Bank. We were one of the 5 finalists for a $2 million pitch competition that was started by Steve Case, the founder of AOL.
Mm,
He did a $2 million pitch competition, and we were one of the finalists. And so we got the
awesome.
attention from Morgan Stanley from that pitch competition. And that's when we got our first investment, was from Morgan Stanley Bank for 250K. We got put into their multicultural innovation lab. And
Mm,
so that's how it started. It was a year of COVID and having to survive. And that's how we used our PPP money, is to build our first SaaS product, because I knew that SaaS was not dependent on human bodies having to do work, which is consulting, and it has a huge multiple. Like that SaaS, I can write it once and sell it hundreds of thousands of times, right? It doesn't
mm,
require a person working an hour for me to bill on top of their time. So I knew
mm.
that that would save us when I couldn't get a physical human into a location. I could get my software there. And so that's why I said we have to build an enterprise SaaS. This is what's going to save the company. This is going to be our base. And that's what we did, is we used that money to start building this product out.
So before then, before March 2020, were you guys just consulting,
Yeah.
and you were actually going through the numbers, you were going through the ledgers, you guys were all going through
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
to identify discrepancies and say you can save money. You were doing this
Exactly.
manually.
We were doing it manually, or we
Mm,
were the ones who would put in the software to do
mm,
that. So we were
got it.
like system integrators. we would take the Oracle point of sale system, which was the system that one of my startups sold to Oracle, right? So
Mhm.
that's how I got into this consulting because Oracle bought our software and blew it up. They started selling it to everybody all around the world. And I was an expert because I was one of the original developers of the point of sale. So I started my consulting firm on that acquisition and started hiring fresh out of college kids, training them on how to maintain and enhance and customize the point of sale system that I helped create. And so we became one of the main system integrators for Oracle
Mm.
for this type of system. So we got to work with Home Depot, Pep Boys, LL Bean. There's all kinds of companies we got to work with because we knew the system probably better than most people. I
That's
trained my
beautiful.
people on my brain and how to maintain these systems. But the
Mm.
way we made money is if I was paying it's consulting, you know this part, Freddie. Whatever I'm paying them, I'm marking up to get a little bit of
Mhm.
profit. And
Mhm.
then, I still have to pay my people. So it's in order for us to make more money, I had
Mm.
to have more consultants.
Yeah.
So and humans are expensive, right? And
Yes.
so, so that's why I needed a SaaS because, the SaaS keeps going down in cost as you build it. And the software just keeps working. And these AI agents, we use them as digital people. I can build an agent and that thing will work. I don't have to pay it per hour.
Mhm.
Most of the time it's some type of fee like the chat GPT, $20 or whatever. But that agent is built and it works. Not only does
Mm.
it works 24/7, Freddie.
Mhm.
And people are starting to get into this idea of, hey, I'll pay for your agent. So I'm like, okay, cool. So just like we were hiring out humans, people are willing to pay me per hour for some of our agents to do the work for them. Cheaper than the
Awesome.
humans, but it's still, I'm getting an hourly fee for something that's, it's not going
An
to cost me that much.
infinite supply
Just
of
keeps infinite. And
infinite
anytime I
supply.
need another one, I create
Boom.
it, create
You
it
know,
and train it, put it out into the world. That's
Barb, I
that's Agentic AI that I was telling you guys about and the power of
mm,
it for us. Yeah.
I love that story, and I'm kind of upset that we didn't hear this story until almost a year since we
Yeah.
met,
I,
right? The start of COVID, right?
yeah.
And you took adversity. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to just brush by this, but you took an adversity that you thought you would have to close the business and all the people that you really took care of for the past about 10 years at
Yeah.
that
It would have
point.
been about, yeah, exactly.
And you were so caring, and you took it, and again, responsibility and ownership, you took that
Yeah.
and you made it into something beautiful.
Yeah.
That's even better now.
That's even better. Yeah. Yeah.
That's an
We have a
amazing
huge
story.
valuation. It's like that idea of going from a consulting firm to a SaaS
Mm.
changed everything, Freddie. We have
Mm.
Serena Williams as an investor. She never would have invested in my consulting firm,
Serena
like at
Williams
all.
investing. Wow.
Never. So Serena Williams, she invested in that SaaS product. Morgan Stanley, they were excited about this SaaS
Mm.
product. That's why my old company was bought by Oracle because of the SaaS, the product that we created,
Hmm.
this
That
point of
you
sale
sold to.
system, right? And
That's
so that's
amazing.
what I knew watching us go from when I started with that company, 360 Commerce, my first acquisition. I was employee number 25, and I saw us go from 25 to 200. And I saw us go from one client to tons of retailers, probably too many for us to handle. And I saw us get acquired by a major corporation. I watched that whole trajectory fresh out of college. That was my first job out of college. So I was already bit by that entrepreneurial spirit.
Mm.
My first job out of college. I never worked for anybody after that, Freddie. That's except Starman, but it was the same group of us that got back together. So that was easy.
Right, right.
I have never worked for anybody else from that first startup. After that acquisition, I've had my own business ever since. So it
That's
was just
incredible.
bit by the entrepreneurial bug very early on.
So 360 Commerce, that was your first
That was the
startup
first.
after
Yeah.
college. You
Yeah.
joined, and then and you sold that, or your
Yeah.
team sold that,
Yeah.
and you watched that unfold, and then it was Starmount. So
Star Mount was next.
were these the same people that you just kind of stuck with to go
Yeah.
from one to another?
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
the president. It wasn't the CEO. It was the president of 360 Commerce. He's
Mm.
the one that founded Star Mount. and he got some of us together. It's like Barbara, we got to have Barbara. We get, so he had like handpicked the people that he
Mm,
wanted. And he
mm,
said, I'm starting another one, guys. You guys with me? We're like, come on. We just sold 360 covered. Whatever you're doing, we're doing. So we
uh,
joined them and helped them with Star Mount, and that one sold as well, and to
mm,
M4. So it was that they were going to do something else, but I'd already started Lily, so I couldn't do
yeah.
it. But those are my guys. Just smart, just innovative, just those are the kind of people you want to get. In your life at an early age. I was fresh
And
out of college when they recruited me. That was my
or
first job out of college.
what? So
So
I mean, I want to dig into this. How in 1990 did you say, you know what, computer science? That's what I want to do. Like
exactly, yeah,
you
yeah. It was
chose,
easy,
you went
ready.
that.
Well, it started out as electrical engineering, right? Because
Mm,
I'm trying to be the one in the family that makes it. So I'm like, what kind of degree can I get that's going to make a lot of money, right? That's what
mm.
I'm thinking. I got to get something that makes a lot of money because I got to save the family.
Yep.
So engineering. So I'm like, oh wow, engineering. So I'm going to be an electrical engineer. It's like one of the new things. Everybody's talking about electrical engineering. I had done some internships where I was, on the ground soldering things together. So I kind of knew I was like electrical engineering. I'm going to get into fiber optic cables were new and this stuff was coming out.
Mm,
And so I was like electrical engineering. And so I got accepted into University of Texas at Austin, and I was in the EE program, and I had taken my first computer programming class in high school. And Freddie, when I started programming those computers, I was like, oh my God,
music to my ears, huh?
I loved it. Just being able to take an idea out of my head and create software out of it.
Mm,
Couldn't believe it. I was really torn. I was like, okay, go for EE because computers back then, computers and all that was so new.
hmm
So I like engineering. So I go to UT, I take my engineering classes, I'm on the ground soldering stuff together, and I'm like, man, let me just take one more computer programming class. Took another one, changed my major, Freddie. I'm like,
Oh
that's it. I
wow.
don't care. I'm gonna be a computer programmer. Told my mom, she's like, what? Computer programmer? What is
What
that?
the hell?
Here. So they were like, oh no, don't do it. But yeah, I'm so happy that I changed my major to computer science,
Mm,
graduated, went out of University of Texas, which was top school back then when I graduated for computer science. We had one of the first supercomputers for any university. So I got out, I had like five, I think it was over five offers, Freddie. I was just had them like, they were just bidding against each other. This one offered me
oh
this.
wow.
What can you do? Okay, they offered me this. What can you do? So I had them fighting
What?
for me. So I ended up coming out of college, making more money, probably three times as much as my mother had ever made in her life.
Oh
I
shit.
came out with that type of offer out of the
Or
University of Texas at Austin. Yes. So I
that
had
is,
made it. I did what I said I was going to do. I was making
oh
money. I
man.
helped my mom. I helped my family. I had money to help people. Yeah, so I came out of fresh out of college, first job, making three times more than my mom had ever made in her life. In a year, I came out making that, and with the first job out of college.
Oh, God bless you. Seriously, that gives me, just immense joy
Yeah.
hearing that, and now what you're doing, how this has evolved. Um, could you could you go through just in whether it's the two startups, right, that exited, or or let's talk about that first. What two
Yeah.
startups? How did you guys find the right people for your team?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So that was, the beauty with 360 Commerce is, the people that we picked to join that company were people that were entrepreneurial minded, right? And so, because it was this was in 2000. So startups were not popular, Freddie. Like
Mm,
everybody wanted to work for a major company. Nobody wanted to work for a little startup that nobody had
mm,
heard of. When I
mhm,
went to work there, my mom was like, "Where are you going? You got offers from here, here, and here. You're going to work for a startup? Like what?
mm,
What do you think? I never even heard of this company." Mom thought I was crazy. And so for me, I was like, man, this thing, because I had been a cashier all through high school and college.
mm,
So I knew how bad the software was around cashier. Like it was basically a glorified calculator. We had to do a lot of the math in our heads. And I remember having my till short $100 and had to go talk to my manager because they thought I stole it. I was like, I didn't steal it. Like, I don't know what happened, but I definitely didn't take this money out of the till. So it was just the software was bad. So when I heard what 360 Commerce was building, software for cash registers, it was a no-brainer for me. I told my mom, this thing is gonna blow up, Mom. I'm telling you, I know this is gonna blow up because it's so needed. I knew it, Freddie, because I've been a cashier for years. So it's, all of this stuff doesn't, this is not like, you know, luck. Like my life has been just ordained. This is not luck. Like I happen to be a cashier and I get an offer from a company building the first ever
Oh
cash
shit.
register. And I've been a cashier since high school. Come on, this is not coincidence, right? This stuff
Mm,
was
mm,
ordained for me
mm,
for my life. And so I
mm,
just saw things like this. I'm like, this is perfect setup. I know this is going to be big. 4 years after I started working there, we get bought by Oracle,
mm.
and that
You blew
acquisition
it up.
set me up to start my own business. First person of family to have their own business,
Mm.
consulting firm, IT consulting. It's
So
just step in my life.
yeah, that again, that's an awesome story, and I just like it's not coincidence, right? Like you said,
It's
it was
not
ordained.
coincidence. There's no
I
way.
love it. I love that. I love it. You know, how do you currently for freeing returns? How large is your team right now?
Yeah, we have it's about 34 people in the company. Not all of them are full time. We have partnerships with, other companies in other countries so that we can use some of their resources. We have
Mm,
about 9 people full time, but a
mm,
team of about 35. And and so it's to me it's like a family. These people are extensions of my family. The first
mm,
person I ever hired still works for me 12 years later. He's still with the
mm,
company. He's my number one guy. And so, yeah, so that's how I like to hire people. We have like values that are on our website. And that's how we hire people that have these values and want to live up to these type of values. And I'm an altruistic founder. So my heart is always given out. So I can't have people in the company that take advantage of that because I'm the type of person that just, I'll give you my last dime if I care about you. And
mm,
so I try to stay away from people that are just users, are
mm,
going to come in and just take what they can take and leave. And so everybody in my company, we have certain values, and it's the values that I've instilled in the company. And that's how we hire. We have to, people go through it. I really evaluate how they are as a person. And you have to be entrepreneurial. You're not going to last in this company if you don't have an entrepreneur's mindset. And so that's one of the things I look for.
Can you tell me this? Can you tell us the story of this first hire who's been with you the whole time? How did you find this person? And
Oh man. Well, I was partnered with one of the 2-year colleges that was here in Atlanta, and I knew one of the professors, and he and I had met at an event. I think I was a speaker, and he heard me speak, and I said I was looking to hire up my team. I just started this company, so I said, Barbara, I have students in my class who would love to work for you. These are usually second year people. They're going
mm,
back to school to
got
learn tech, and they're older, so they're more mature, and they would love to get an opportunity to work for a company like yours. And so I was like, oh man, I would love that. So he gave me the top people in his class, the ones who were like straight A's, the top people graduating out of the class. That's who he would refer to me. And so one of them was my number one, and the other guy referred was the number two person I hired. So I hired both of the top people that he gave me. And so the way I got Maurice, which is my number one, still with me today, is I said, Maurice, I'm building this company. I've got this team together. We're doing all this things. Like, oh, wow, you got a whole team of people. So he shows up the first day for work. He's like, Barbara, where's the team? I'm like, here you are. He's like, it's just me and you. I said, we're the team, Maurice. He's like, oh my goodness. And he stayed, Freddy's. He didn't like, I
Yeah.
stayed. You took me and a whole team. It's just really
Uh,
me and him. He was like, okay,
uh-huh.
let's
Where's the
do this.
team?
And so
Yeah.
we're the
Yeah.
team, Maurice. It's
Mm,
me and you. And so he didn't get scared.
mm,
He had been a business owner before. His business had failed, but he's
mm,
like, I'm gonna come in and help you. And he's still with me to this day. So that's how I got employee number one. I told him we had a team that we're
mm.
putting together, and guess what? It's me and you.
You were putting together, right? You weren't lying
Exactly.
there. Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, that's cool. So it was through this kind of pipeline
Yeah.
of students or grads that you developed relationship with,
Yeah,
and
yeah. And I
you,
hired
you
all of my first hires came out of that 2 year college. Some of them have gone on to get big jobs, right? I trained them, and then everybody
mm,
starts stealing them from me. And big
mhm,
retailers we were working for, and they were working for as consultants, wanted them. They're like, Barbara, I wanted to hire this person. I'm like, what? This is my
mm,
business. You can't tell I've
oh
trained these
no,
people, but you can't stop it. So some of them went to work for big retailers, and I lost a lot of them, but Maurice never left. And he could have. So many people wanted Maurice, but Maurice never left. Still with me to this day.
man,
Yep.
that's good job, Maurice. Good job. You're
I
listening,
was
I'm
showing
sure.
this too.
Good
Yes.
job. That's
Yeah.
super cool. Um, how should a business owner think about that? When you're taking somebody new, you're teaching them everything. They're of course helping you out as well, but then they get poached or they're like, "Hey, we got another opportunity here. I'm sorry, thank you." Like all of that. What do you think? How should we think about that?
Well, I always had in
How do
my
you think of it? Yeah.
employment contracts, I always had 2 year, you have to stay with the company for 2 years because I'm training them and I'm paying
Mhm.
them while I'm training them. So they go through
Mhm.
training, I'm paying for that. So they have to at least stay with the company 2 years so I can get my money back and, a little profit.
Mhm.
So most of the people that were poached was after that 2 year period. And
Mm.
at that point, Freddie, I was like, you know what? I want the best for this person. I
Mm.
got my profit back. I got everything I put into them. I got it back and then some. I always built a little profit into that 2 years. And so now they're at a point in their life where they can decide what they want to do. If they want to
Mm.
stay with me, they're going to stay. If they want to leave, I bless them. Go have fun. And guess what, Freddie?
Mm.
They're working for one of the retailers, which means I have a person inside who
Mhm.
owes me, right?
Yeah.
So I can always get in the door with that retailer because I have
Mm.
some of my people still there to this day. I can always
Mm.
get back in and get new work from them and stuff like that. So I was planning my little mini me's at some of the biggest retailers in the world. So for
Brilliant.
me, if they wanted to go, I let them go and I blessed them with it. It wasn't hard feelings. They can reach
Mm.
out to me even to this day and say, Barbara, I need some help with something. They're still
Mm.
my little chickadees. I still help them. I still give them advice. But, I let them go, Freddie. You have to let people go if that's what they want to do. I don't want to hold them. They gave me the 2 years and then I let them go if
I
they
love
wanted to.
that.
Hmm.
I love that. I mean, and you just kindness kind of karma, right? It comes back around.
It comes back
Right.
around. Yeah.
Yep.
Had so much business from people of mine that had left and they're now with big retailers and they
Mm.
they contact me first if something's going on. They'll
Yeah.
contact me first. And so I've got my little mini me spread out around the industry. So
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Really, that's an amazing way to think about it as well, right? Because
yeah,
you can just burden yourself with that as well. If you think
exactly.
about it the other way, you can say,
They left me, I trained them.
mm, mm. Right,
I want that.
right,
I want that.
right. I'd love to shift gears a little bit here at this point. I want to really understand and talk AI with you, your expertise, right? What
Yes.
you've gotten into, what you've built. From your perspective, where are we now in AI adoption? Like
Yeah.
early innings or closer to the tipping point? What do you think?
Oh, it's early, Freddie. It is so early. I
Mm,
think companies are realizing that they have to have some type of AI strategy. And the
mm,
ones like my company who have leaned in first, we're now AI first. I mean, everything we do in the company now is AI generated. I have people that like, Barbara, did you send me that email or was that one of your agents? I'm like,
mm.
Barbara, tell. No, no, I can. But we do AI. We use AI tools for everything in the business. Every person in the business is 3x because they're using AI tools. So they're getting things done 3 times faster, 3 times as productive. And right now the tools, Freddie, are so inexpensive. ChatGPT is
Mm,
$20 a month. I've
mm,
built all kinds of AI agents with ChatGPT, and I'm
mhm,
paying $20 a month. I got 10 agents running. You know what I'm saying? And so
mhm,
it's beautiful time. So I feel like this is a time to start learning. What can you do to AI enable your business? For me, digital loss prevention team.
mm,
There are some retailers who have small loss prevention teams. They got 1 or 2 people. Now using our software, they have a team of 12. They can get 10 agents for us from us. So that's like 10 more people on their team for a fraction of what it would cost them to go hire 10 humans. Now, we don't want to get displace humans. I always say, don't get rid of the humans you have, 3x them, right? Now these humans can do 3 times as much work with the tools that you give them. So we didn't let anybody go. We kept everybody. We're just now
Mm,
operating 3 times more efficient
mm,
than we were before, and 3 times more productive than we were
mm,
before. So I feel like AI is still early. People are still trying to figure out, how do I bring AI into my business in some type of way? Is
mm,
it agents? Is it automation? Is it just using AI to get more work done? Like, what can I do? But I tell everybody, figure out what you can do with AI in your business now, because after a while, it is going to be widely adopted. And the people who are not AI enabled, they're going to get left behind, in my opinion. People are going to move away from those type of solutions, and they're going to move to solutions that are AI enabled. We're going to just expect it, just like we used to expect that everybody had a website. They're going to expect that everybody has some type of AI assistant or AI agent. That's what people
mm,
will expect. And so I feel like you're still early where you can figure
mm.
out what AI looks like for your business.
Just play with it, right? Just
Play
play
with it. Start using it
with it.
yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
start using it. Yeah, you start using before you give it to your team or start paying for it for your team. You, as the founder and owner, start using it. See what you can do with it. And that's how we've been able to pick our tools, because I used it first, then I gave it to Maurice. He ran with it. Now we have 5 or 6 tools that the company pays for everybody to use.
Mm,
And so now, like I said, we do everything is AI first in the company. We figure out before we do anything, can we do this with AI? That's the
mm.
first question. Yeah.
It's this is obviously, well, not obviously, but this is similar to like the .com just
Yeah.
bubble where people who were just playing with it at first, they
Yeah.
got into it, they understood it more, they
Yeah.
found other use cases, and then
Exactly.
boom, right? So
Hmm.
AI is similar in that way. I agree. What do you right now, AI is going so fast, people can feel daunted about it.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of buzzwords, right? A lot
Yeah.
of buzzwords. How can people separate hype from real value when exploring AI solutions?
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like everybody's definitely saying, I got AI, right? And a lot of people still really don't, but they're saying
Right.
it. So they want to see, like, are people interested in this? And so for me, the real hype is, I would try something before actually buying it. Anybody that says they have AI or they have this new tool, try it. I wouldn't pay for
Hmm.
it first.
Mm,
They should have a trial version or something where you can actually go in and see how to use it. But first, understand, what is this AI going to do for you? Is it gonna make you more productive? Is it gonna be able to do deep research for you on new type? Like, first figure out, what do you want the AI to do for you? And then try the tools first to see how they work, use them, make sure it's gonna make sense in your business. And then once you find the things that you know are gonna make you more productive or make your team more productive, or something you can now monetize on top of what you always offer, then go into those tools. And those are the ones that you use, and don't just, be like a deer in headlights and everything that comes out, oh, let me go get that. No.
yeah.
Your evaluation. I think about 5 or 6 tools is all anybody needs at this point. Don't buy
Hmm.
everything. 5 or 6 that are going to really move the needle for your business. That's what you need. So that's what I would
So,
say. Try before buy.
mm, um, several points to what you said. Before you said, use AI as a tool. I love that, and you said, 3 times more effective. At least 3 times
At
more
least three
effective, right?
times.
At least. I
It's usually
mean,
way more than that, but
way
at
more.
least 3x more than
At
what you
least
can do by
3x.
yourself. At least 3x.
Right, right. It's incredible, just what AI can do. My other point here is trying before you buy AI. And you said at first come up with what you want AI to do, right?
Yes.
And some people don't. If you don't have an awareness to even have that foundation of what AI
Right.
can do,
Right.
um, I, I'd like to ask you, like, those 5 tools that you have. What are they for? What do they
Yeah.
do for you?
Yes, yes. So the 5 tools we have are, one first tool we got was ChatGPT. because with that we can create custom GPTs. We can use it for content creation, image creation. $20 a month is the best money spent. So we first got ChatGPT. Next thing, since we write a lot of software, we needed a AI tool that can generate software, it can generate code. That's almost 90% right, and my team only has to tweak it 10%, right? So we
Mm.
got Claude from Anthropic. That's the second thing we bought. Next is, we are technologists. Like we're not marketing people, we're not salespeople. And so we needed sales and marketing tools. So we got HeyGen, very good at creating videos from just an image. So we created
Hmm.
videos like crazy. And voice cloning, all this cool stuff in just with just prompts. So we got HeyGen. We also got Notebook LLM from Google. Does a lot of deep research, so we can research topics because we do a lot of deep tech. So we need to go into deep topics on all kinds of topics. And so now my team can go and use Notebook LLM for deep research, get all
Mm.
that information, and now Claude can help them code algorithms towards it, and so we keep it
Ooh,
moving. Yes. So with
super
Notebook
cool.
LLM, another one. And that one's free, so I don't have to pay for that one. And
Mm.
then we use Napkin AI. So that allows us to create white papers out of that deep research that we had Notebook LLM create. Now we can turn that into a white paper with visualizations. Napkin visualizes text. And so now we have an engine. So we have our automation, we have our code generation, we have sales and marketing support, and we have deep research support so that we can write new algorithms. And we have a patent pending at this point already. We've been able to
What?
patent some of this stuff. We just heard from our attorney the patent is very close to being approved. And so, it's just AI has been a game changer for us. Game
Is
changer.
is the is your patent for like use case, the stacking of all of this, or is it for uh,
It's yeah, it's
it's the
it's for
stacking?
the process for how we're able to find the fraud and the shrink and the loss, not any other
Oh,
algorithms or
got it,
none of the
got it.
code, but what is that process that our software goes through to be able to find loss and shrink? That's what we patented.
And then I'll put all the links in the show notes here for the various tools you mentioned. But what is, and you've said this, and I've said this before too. So can you just clarify here? Agentic AI. You said
Yes.
if you build you can have 5 agents for your client. Is that
Yes.
just like in ChatGPT? Is that just like your
The custom
GPT that you
GPTs.
build? Is that the
Yes.
5 custom GPTs? Is that what you?
Some of them are, and with ChatGPT, they're starting to make the custom GPTs can also become agents. That's the new thing they're going to introduce is agent mode for the custom GPTs. But we use some of those custom GPTs as digital employees as well because my team will use them, our clients will use them for content creation, code creation. But the AI agents, which is really agentic AI, is more than a chatbot, right? Chatbot, you have to go in every time you prompt it. It gives you something. Go back every time you prompt it. It gives you something. An AI agent, you prompt it once and it
Mm,
goes off and does work for you. You don't have to keep telling it what to do. It can figure out, it can reason, it can generate, it can talk to other systems, it can talk to other agents, And so the way we use agentic AI is we have a general just like military, all my stuff goes back to military. But we have a general agent, which he's the commander. So he knows this, this type of sub agent knows how to do vendor credit fraud. This one knows how to find return fraud. This one. So we'll tell it, hey, go figure out, where I'm losing money for this particular item. That general agent knows how to talk to any of the sub agents to get what he needs. He gets it. He compiles it in whatever format I need it to be, returns it back to me. And all I did was prompt it once. That's the
mm,
difference between the chatbots that we're all used to and agentic AI, which is agents, which means you basically that's the real digital people, is the agents are able to go and do work for you autonomously
mm.
without you having to prompt it every time for every step. Give
I
it
love
one
that.
prompt, send it off its way, it'll come back to you when it's done with the work. That's what
Is
we're
that
getting into.
that's so I love the simplicity and how you explained it. Is what these agents do is generative AI what these agents do, or is that a
One thing that
different
they
type?
do. Yeah, one thing that they do. So these agents can use generative AI for some of the steps of what they need to do. For instance, just think about you want to build an agent that will do outreach to customers for you. So it will research. Let's say you give a company, hey, I'm trying to get into Charlotte Russe.
Mm.
Figure out who I need to talk to in this company. So that's all you give it. I'm trying to get into Charlotte Russe. Go figure out who I need to talk to. So that agent will use large language models to figure out, how do I find out who to talk to at Charlotte Russe. So it uses large language models to search about Charlotte Russe and who works there and what type of roles. And then it will use automation, which is one of the tools we use is N8N. But it uses automation to be able to go to LinkedIn, look up that person's profile, go to my email, create the email template to send to that person. So that's the difference with agentic AI is it uses large language models, but it also uses other things like apps and tools like N8N to do automation to talk with other systems. So that's when you have to really build out that. When you do a agentic AI, you do a lot of building of what
Mm.
that that AI agent will do. Give him a task that he's in charge of, and then you let it go do it. So that's really the digital workforce is the agentic AI. The custom GPT is a nice little interface. I call them AI virtual assistants. So
Mm.
they're more like a virtual assistant. You can go and prompt and get some information from it, and it can be trained on a specific topic. But an AI agent, give that thing a task and let it go to work, and it
And
will
is
come back to you like a person would.
that's super cool. Is that can one build that agent off of ChatGPT just using Chat, or is that a
Pretty soon, not yet, but ChatGPT is offering the ability to turn your custom GPT into a AI agent. That's
mm,
coming. They already released agent mode in ChatGPT, so now
mhm.
they're going to enable agent mode for the custom GPTs next. So it's coming, but right now you have to build the AI agents yourself. You usually build
Okay.
those outside of ChatGPT.
So that's like a separate program
Yeah,
for
it's a
that.
separate
That
program. Yeah.
I see. Your own platform.
Yeah,
There's
for us,
there
it's
is.
our own platform. Well,
Mm,
Google, because we're a Google first company. So Google has a whole platform for building out AI agents. And so that's what we use. We
mm.
build on top of Google for our agents outside of ChatGPT.
I see. I see.
Hmm.
Um, it was fascinating, really,
Thank you,
to have
Freddie.
you and
Oh,
just
it's
to
so
talk to
fun to
you.
talk to you. I can't believe we
Yeah,
got through that much content so fast,
I
but
loved your
it was so,
stories.
thank you.
I
Thank
loved
you.
it. So thank you for sharing, Barb. Well, for
No
the
problem.
listeners out there, hope you are also inspired. Now you go and build your A team.